Now, more of Illinois Rising, presented by the Illinois Policy Institute, the only show directly addressing the problems and solutions for Illinois. Now, from AM 560, here's Dan Proft.
Dan Proft back with Pat Hughes, co-founder of the Illinois Opportunity Project. And Pat, property taxes, big problem in Illinois because Illinoisans pay the highest property taxes in the nation, and they're none too happy about it, particularly as we were talking about earlier in the show. What am I getting for my spiraling property tax increases? I see what politicians are getting. I see that my school district continues to spend money at a 45-degree angle of incidence. But what am I actually getting in terms of return on the money I spend? And it's one of the things that's frankly driving a lot of people out of this state.
There are so many people, Dan, whose property tax payment each month on their mortgage statement, right, the stuff that gets escrowed and put towards the local property taxes, is more than their mortgage payment, which is just unbelievable. Where, financing their house requires them to finance all this government overreach. And it's distressing. And people say, well, look, I'll just move to Wisconsin. I'll move to Iowa. I'll move to Indiana. I'll get a job. I'll have a cheaper house. I'll have lower property taxes. And that's at the personal level. At the business level, for like a manufacturer, for example, it can be a no-brainer to move across state lines so you don't pay these property taxes.
Well, and here's the other thing that happens in other states is they make the process by which they determine your property taxes, your property value and your property taxes, your associated property taxes, linear, readily understandable, and transparent. Here, the assessment process is conducted by some group of mystics with formulas that are incomprehensible, and it also and so you have kind of wild externalities that occur based on the assessments made by township, really the county assessors' offices. And the formulas that they're employing to make these determinations. And so it further frustrates, I think, it certainly does me, Illinois families say, like, I don't even know how they're coming up with these numbers.
Well, and the interesting thing about that is those mystics, their buddies who are the lawyers, including Mike Mannigan, they're the ones that are getting wealthy off the system because they can then go and appeal that incredible calculation, get it down, and then keep a little bit of the spread for themselves. And that's what's happening in our state.
Well, and so it's time for some citizen action. And one citizen and former resident of Illinois, Paul Kopp, who's a pilot for Southwest Airlines, he was a McHenry County resident, Burton Township. As of last year, he saw a 30% change in his property value assessment. I don't think it went down. And that prompted him to start an informational website for Burton Township homeowners out there in McHenry County to help provide information to make sense of this and to put public pressure on public officials. And Paul joins us now. Paul, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Yeah, good morning, Dan. Thanks for having me.
So just kind of explain the process. I gave a little bit of an overview, but the process that led you to start this website, that led you to kind of take time from flying around the country to start the website, and also what ultimately led you to call yourself a former Illinois resident.
I am. We are former Illinois residents. We've been residents now for 3 weeks of Gilbert, Arizona. But what prompted it was last fall when we got our assessment notices in the mail. I opened up my assessment and saw a 30% increase in the assessment. And I started by calling our assessor, who indicated that was that was correct. A 30% increase was what we were going to see in the assessment of our property. So I started to phone call our neighbors and email neighbors, and sure enough, many of them were opening up their assessment notices and realizing 20, 30, 40. I think we even had one residence in our neighborhood go up by 60% in their assessment. So we rallied together, tried to find some answers, first by getting the McHenry County Council together to try to get some answers from them, and that got us really nowhere. Then we kind of went to a small town hall kind of forum with our chief county assessor. Barbara Wheeler and Pam Althoff were in attendance at that meeting. Bob Ross is the chief county assessor, I think is his appropriate title. and we tried to get answers from them as well, and really didn't get anywhere really. We got some answers, but the basic answer we got is, it's the state of Illinois, and this is the reality, and this is where things are going. And to have, a 30, 40%, 50% increase in your assessment, which ultimately leads to, an increase in your property tax bill, according to them, that was legal.
Have you had time to investigate what the system is like in Gilbert, Arizona, to compare and contrast?
Yeah, I have. And trust me, I'm still educating myself more and more every day to try to figure out a logical solution to these problems. And I still stay very involved in what's going on in Illinois. So anyway, the basis for why our property taxes in Illinois are so high is because we're one of the bottom states as far as how much they fund the public education system. And I know we've seen some increase with this temporary stopgap spending bill that was authorized, but still, that's the reason why the property tax bills are so high, is because all the education is put into the education spending is put into the property tax system. So in the state of Illinois, we pay for most of our schooling through our property tax bills, which is why they are so high. Now, in Gilbert, Arizona, for instance, very large tax base there, and the state does fund a much higher percentage of the public education system in Arizona. So hence we moved into an almost equitable property, and my property tax bill for 2015, the state of Illinois, was $13,800, almost $14,000 for our new house in Gilbert. It's 4 years old. We have a pool now. It's on 0.8 acre. Our house that we left in Spring Grove was on 1 acre. Our property tax bill is $3,400 a year.
Wow.
Well, and unfortunately, that's a familiar refrain from former Illinoisans across the fruited plains. Paul Cope, former McHenry County resident, now a resident of Gilbert, Arizona, because of property taxes, and a pilot for Southwest Airlines. Paul, thanks so much for joining us, telling us your story. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem, Dan. Thanks, guys.
And, one of the simple solutions to this is do what some other states have done, Pat, including Indiana. Market valuation, total freeze until you either improve the property or sell it. Those are the only times your property tax changes. Real simple.
Agreed.